When you start your engineering career, chances are you're mostly working on technical roles, and slowly you grow and you find yourself in a place where you need to transition into project management roles. So this video is specifically for engineers who have reached that level where they want to transition to project management roles, and they want to tailor their CV to those roles to bring out their contribution in project management more clearly. So the mistake that you don't want to do is to stay too technical, list softwares and all that. That is for your technical roles. And like I said before, you can't use the same CV for all roles. So if you're applying for a project management role or a leadership role, this video is for you. And in the video, I'll take you section by section, the parts of your CV and how you'll be adjusting them so your project management experience comes out well, because chances are you already have this experience and you're not looking for it, because normally in our career we grow into roles before we usually take up those spaces. We are going to start with the professional summary. As usual, I have my notebook for you so that I can not forget anything. Professional summary, you'd want to remove tools, as I said before. You don't want to be listing so much of Revit, ANSYS, and whatever tools that you're using, all right? Yeah, you want to be listing some other things. So you also, how you frame your professional summary. For example, if you're an electrical engineer, you don't want to be talking about an electrical engineer with experience in PLC systems. You want to be talking about outcome-focused electrical engineer or a chartered engineer. That is also something else, by the way, because I've been looking at jobs looking for engineering management or project managers or engineering design managers, and they are actually asking for registered engineers, either with local bodies or with or chartered engineers. So sorry, I don't know if chartership is also local, I don't know, but yeah, you get what I mean. So you want to talk about your years of experience, you want to talk about yourself as your years of experience. You also want to talk about your roles. You want to bring out your roles, but you want to bring them out as a leader. So instead of did this, led this, oversaw this, and you're going to look at some of those words later. So I'll just list some of the things that you want to include in your professional summary. So include your registration with professional bodies, include your years of experience, include your roles, high level summary of the roles that you've been involved in, and specifically management roles. Then you want to include also the countries that you've worked in, okay? And also, if you are focused on anything like climate action, sustainability, you also want to include that at that point, yes? Then, under the key skills and competencies, the section of your CV where you want to list your key skills and competencies, you want to ditch the software tools and all that. And then also your design experience, you can list it as once, maybe design and construction supervision of infrastructure projects. Because now here, we want to look at your management skills. But please remember, you still have to bring out your design skills, because if you're a design manager, that means that you're overseeing the works of technical teams. So you also have to know what they're doing. So it's not that you're ditching completely your technical experience. No, it means that you're highlighting more your management experience. So you want to talk about the time when you did stakeholder management, the time when you did client liaisons, the time where you drafted subcontractor agreements, the time where you did contract management, contract administration, budget management, quality and risk management, the time where you did conflict resolution and things like that. Those are the things that you want to list on your CV, but also you want to list specific technical areas, maybe geotechnical engineering and stuff like that, or maybe you can list it as an industry, maybe design and construction of highway projects, however way, but you also be sure to include something that is technical. Under the qualifications and membership part of your CV, for this one, maybe you leave it standard, because unless you want to include, what would you include here really? And membership. Okay, membership is important. I told you to include it in the professional summary. You can also include it here because if they're asking for a leader who is registered, because when you get to that level of your career, mostly they want someone who's registered with somebody. Yeah. Then technical and certification. Trainings and certifications. This is where you want to list the courses that you've done under project management. And if you haven't, I'll tell you in a bit how you will be listing that. You want to list your PMP courses, Google Project Management, or whichever courses you did on project management. So if you have not done any course or you are still doing it, then you can list it as progress towards project management. Yeah. The fifth part of your CV, which would be, okay, in no specific order, the professional experience. So this would be listing the different companies where you've worked in. So this is pretty much standard as any other, except maybe at the roles you can put if you've been always, because we're talking about transitioning to project management roles. So it means that maybe your former roles are technical. So you can just put that technical role and then you put a slash and then you add any project management role that you were involved in. And under the project sections, because you also want to have a project section in your engineering CV, you want to highlight the roles of management roles, where you are the project director, the assistant resident engineer, the deputy resident engineer, the resident engineer, the team leader, the assistant team leader. You want to bring those out, okay? Now, as you document your project section, under the roles or the responsibilities that were given to you, I want to take you through some things that you want to bring out. You want to bring out experience in things like claim analysis, payment certificates, management and coordination of input from other teams. You want to bring out progress monitoring, okay? Project control. You want to bring out any business development and work winning initiatives. You want to bring up recruitment and deployment of resources. You want to bring out quality management. You want to bring out some consultant, subcontractor management. You want to bring out any commercial management, leading teams to execute. You want to bring out such roles in addition to your technical input. Another thing would be the language, okay? The language that you use as you describe your responsibilities. You want to use words like coordinated, maintained. We are still talking about your project area because I've told you when you're listing your roles, what kind of roles you want to prioritize. Of course, I'm not saying that you paste this. I'm saying look at what you have done that maybe fall under here or just examples, and then use that under the roles and also add the technical ones. Because chances are mostly you have more technical ones, but ensure that the project management ones are appearing first. The words that you want to be using are things like coordinated, oversaw, implementation, driving, project progress, led, reviews, managed this, led this. You want to use words that show that you were actually in a leadership or a management position. So with that, I think if you correct or if you improve your CV in these areas, if you're someone who is trying to transition from a technical role to a project management role, then I think this would be able to set you apart and help you to stand out as you look for your next opportunity. Cheers.